All right, we're back. Another episode of the Sisterhood Tell Us Your Story Super Successful Podcast, Pilot 2.0, because this is our second time practicing making an episode we're going to publish. And so just want to start out with Jayne. How was your week? Tell me about it.
It's good. It was long and we had a hurricane come through, so that was super fun. But honestly, a huge blessing because we were not, it wasn't bad for us. Like what they were predicting versus what we got, I
Yeah.
think we sidestepped a landmine. So because my neighbor was like talking about evacuating and
Oh my
all this
gosh.
other stuff because they were telling us it was going to be really bad. And in my whole neighborhood, me and Bentley walk every day. I only noticed like a couple of trees down. So we did have some high winds and lots of rain,
Yeah.
but Bentley got 2 baths in 2 days because I had to take him outside. He looked like a
Lucky
drowner.
Bentley. I'm sure he's thrilled.
Oh, yeah. He does not enjoy a bath. I wish he did. It's like a spa day, but he doesn't. He's not a fan of the bath.
Dogs like to be dirty, Jayne.
Sir Bentley is not
I
here
don't
for
know
my
why.
So,
Sir
how was
Bentley is
yours?
a gentleman, so
That's
he
right.
must be clean. But
Right. But he doesn't love getting there.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, and I have my dragonfly cup today to match my tattoo.
Oh, nice.
And
Oh my
inside
God. I got, see these colors? This is
Yeah.
my Slims.
Yeah.
Actually, you got me into these, but this is my eye color.
It's Simply Modern, right?
Yeah, Simply Modern. This is my eye color, and this is my favorite color, and I think they look so good together.
Nice.
This is my coffee, my iced coffee Jeff makes me.
Yeah.
By the way, he brews it and puts it in the fridge in glass, and it is a game changer. I can't even believe I was ever addicted to anything but his coffee. Yeah. Jeff's good at everything he does. Yeah. So that's my coffee cup, and then this is my water cup, and I'm done with water bottles. I literally am 100% cupping it. Now I'm trying to get my kids there because the whole water bottle thing, I just feel like every freaking weekend I pick up several empty or half-filled bottles, and I'm not drinking after them because, you know, I love my kids, but who knows where their lips are.
Well, also
James,
COVID, you know,
well,
they
that
do
too.
school. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. All right. So I had something crazy happen to me this week. You know, like I have been, I don't know, the older I get, the more in touch I am with 100% the universe, mother earth, the good Lord above, source, all those things. I feel it everywhere. But where I feel that I'm really actually noticing it is my interactions with wild animals. And literally I have a couple hawks that fly by my backyard every day. Brandy Kiefer was out in my backyard yesterday and saw my hawk fly by. Yeah. I'm like, that's my hawk. I don't know where his girlfriend is, but that's him. And so anyway, I've got, my good friends gave me this orange tree when I turned 40, which was 6 years ago. And I have hundreds of oranges right now. And so it's bringing the possums in my backyard. And I love possums. I just want to hold possums. Yeah. But Bloom, unfortunately, my guard dog, because that would be her first inclination, is to be the guard dog of the backyard. And she just can't get behind the possums being in the yard. So anyway.
She's not a lover of the possums. She's
not a lover of the possums.
Of the home.
Yeah. Exactly. So me and Jeff had gotten up to do some hot tub time machine early morning. It was dark out still. And all of a sudden Bloom went nuts, not in the side of the yard she normally goes nuts in, which is where the possums usually are by the oranges. The other side where Mom's garden was. Yeah. And so anyway, I'm like, Jeff, I guarantee you it's a possum. And he's like, no, over there, the oranges are over here. So he's like, he gets the flashlight. He goes and gets Bloom. He's got Bloom and she's ferociously like doing her thing coming into the house. Boise's acting big on her 3 legs. But she chilled out. She was only acting big for Bloom's sake. As soon as Bloom was in the house, Boise's like, oh, cute possum. So Jeff confirms it's a possum. I come in the house with the dogs. So I'm like, give me the flashlight. He's like, Jenny, it's stuck between the fence. It wasn't hurt, but he's like, I'm sure he's just hiding there waiting for a moment to get out. And I'm like, son of a frickin', I'm going to have to go take care of this poor baby. So I get over there. Jeff's like, he's hissing. He's pissed. He's not
also
hissing.
Protect his self
When Snow White approaches, he's not hissing at all. He's like looking at me with the most terrified, endearing eyes, and he wants help. So I'm like, I'm clearly not going to put my hands in there, but I figured out a way I found, my weights that I do body pump with, the big poles.
Yeah.
I jimmied one in there so I could give him a little more room between the two fences so we had more room, and also put it down to the ground so we could climb out when he eventually got the courage to climb out. Obviously the dogs were in the house at this point.
Yeah.
I went in, I got him some cat food and some marshmallows because I did some research and they like those. And I'm like, he's clearly hungry. That's why he's in there.
Possums eat marshmallows?
Yeah, they use them to get them into traps all the time. And I didn't give him many, but just a little something sweet to, know I care.
Through it. We all stress eat sweets when
we do. He deserves the sweet. So he got some marshmallows. And so, all right, take a 2-minute timeout. I have to get on the Peloton, and I'm like running out of time because this encroached into the time I had prepared for that. And so I'm like, all right, you're going to take your hour ride to 45 minutes because I lost some time. And then I get in the garage and I'm going to give baby, because that's what I named him. I'm going to give him some time to like rest and figure out if he's got the courage to climb out or not. And so go to get on the bike, and this little freaking, and I love this dog. He's so cute, but he's also a little scary because every time he gets loose, which is 3 times a week, he wants me to pet him, he's fine with that. But if he sees me try to put a leash on him so I can take him home, he gets pissed off and growls, and I'm not going to touch him. So what I have to do is a slow jog to his house so he keeps up with me, because if I run, he'll follow me. If I walk, he won't. Right. So I'm like, all right, look at it like part of your workout. So I run to the neighbor's house because I know exactly where they live, and it is like a half a mile away. He follows me. I'm banging on their door. And yes, I am a little annoyed because he's a little dog and he darts in the road. And I feel like at this point, it's been like 999 times this has happened, and they haven't figured out a way to keep him in. And I'm like, I could not leave until I got him in his house because he's going to get hurt, and it can't be on my watch. So anyway, get him to his house. He takes off again because the neighbors aren't coming to the door. I literally stood there for 10 minutes and I was banging. I'm like, your dog. I'm looking in their peephole, and I'm like, your dog is running around. He's going to get hurt. So finally the teenage daughter gets up and comes out, and she's got her keys. So she's going to chase him with the car. We got the dog. His name's Jasper. Jasper's home, safe. I get home. I'm like, okay, I've been patient. Let me just go check. Baby's still in the fence. I'm like, oh, baby, you've got to have the courage to move. Oh, by the way, in between, Jeff had gone out and just made sure baby could move, like that it wasn't hurt. He very gently just prompted him with a plastic long pole just to make sure, and his tail flung up, and he did do the hiss, but Jeff could make sure he could move, because that would have been a whole new ballgame.
Yeah.
So I get on the bike. This is like a long story. Sorry. I get on the bike, and now I only have 30. Well, actually, I did 30 minutes, but I really only had 15. So I'm like 15 minutes in, and I'm seeing all my number signs. It's like 111 on my average output. And this chick is like, that I'm racing, is like, got her output almost to triple numbers, but I hadn't even paid attention to that. All I know is like, I sat there and I was like, Mother Earth, good Lord above, universe, anything that will listen, Graham, please let baby come out from behind the fence and get his ass out of my yard so my dogs can go outside later, because I'm not going to not be able to let them go out. Obviously, I would have put them on leashes. But it would have made the day much more stressful. Please let him get safe. Please let him know not to come back in the yard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm forgetting what I'm even doing because I'm so deep in this prayer. And Jeff walks out and he's like, baby's on the side fence. And then I'm like, yes. And I felt tears come down my face because I'm like, I am being listened to. Yeah. And then like a minute later, he's like, he's made it across the back fence. So now
you're getting the play-by-play.
Play-by-play. And then finally he comes out. So it took him a total of 5 minutes to get around the yard. But he's like, he's in the neighbors on their fence. We're good. And I just felt so much relief. So anyways,
what's funny about that is 2 things. 1, Jeff needed to know baby was okay. 2,
he did.
Jeff knew how important in real time you needed to know that baby was okay.
I needed to know. I literally needed to know. And I had a really good bike ride after that. It finished strong.
Wait, let me tell you, when you were talking about like trying to gently prompt him out with objects, because you obviously can't just touch him because that would be crazy. Yeah. And you might get attacked and you never know, even though they look really sweet and cute. well,
And
two
they
things.
don't carry rabies, and they kill ticks, and they kill mosquitoes, and they kill small rodents.
Yeah.
They're very good for the environment. And
I
they
love
only
possums.
Yes.
But I will say, when I got my permit, Mom and I were driving home in the dark in the rainstorm, and there was like 12 cars behind me, and I was on like Ditmar Road or one of those side roads that were like out in the country. I can't remember exactly what road it was called, but I would know it if I saw it.
I think it's Christine Forbes Road.
No, it was the other end. It was like maybe
okay, going the other
Does
way.
that sound right? Is there a turnpike road that's on the way to Auburn?
Ditmar, like on the way to camp?
No, on the way to Auburn.
Oh.
One of those ones that cut between the two main roads.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the one Jeremy Saxon left off?
Maybe. Might have been that one. I can't remember, but it's one of those. And so anyhow, we're driving down the road and a family of possums is crossing.
No.
And Mom was like, do not slam on the brakes. You can't. She's like, you have to go. And I hit him. I had to. And I was so hysterical.
Yeah.
I finally was able to pull over. She had to drive home. I couldn't even drive.
Yeah.
And but there were so many cars behind me and it was so slippery that we didn't have a choice. And I've been traumatized by that my whole life. Like every time I see a possum, it brings me right back and I feel trauma. And the other thing that your story reminded me of was when Vic was here. Remember that time I had him come like help me do electrical stuff around the house because he's a genius electrician.
Yeah, yes.
My brother and I had to call him
freaking genius.
Yeah, but he was here and for 4 days, and I probably had about 12 days worth of work for him to do, and so on the to-do list. So we were burning through stuff.
Yeah,
and a bird. We had like a rainstorm, and it was when it leaked into my roof and into my living room and all that. And a bird flew into the kitchen window and then collapsed on the deck.
Oh no.
And so Vic and I'm crying. Vic's clearly upset, but not crying.
Like
clearly like feeling bad. And the next thing I know, I look out there and he's got a broomstick and he's trying to give it CPR with a broomstick.
I love my brother.
Like the gentlest little like compressions.
Sweet boy. He's such a sweet boy.
And I was like, I mean, look, what more can you ask for? I'm not asking him to give it mouth to mouth, but he really did do everything he could do. Because I was a basket case. I was hysterical in the kitchen. I couldn't even look. I was so upset. And then he had to put it on a shovel and take it out into the woods. And
no.
Oh my God, it was awful. It was awful. But he did attempt to resuscitate it with a very gentle broomstick.
Victor is just a
Jeff would have done the same thing.
Jeff would have done the same thing, for sure. Jeff probably would have gave it mouth to mouth. Especially if I was like, please,
anybody? Like,
also, man, that's hilarious. Got any good plans for the weekend?
So my buddy John, who I've known since I worked at the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, for years I've known him and we've been friends. His birthday is Sunday, and so last year I threw him a little impromptu birthday party, and the year before, for years before that, I would just always take him out to eat for his birthday. But last year, he enjoyed, like, I got him a balloon bouquet and I decorated the house and got cupcakes, and he likes vanilla on vanilla on vanilla. And so, so I got him vanilla cupcakes, vanilla ice cream. He only likes water to drink, so we did water. And so this year, last year I just, I have my like party supply box because I like to bust out some decorations when
you do
birthday and they're coming over. And so this year though, I ordered, he loves WWF and like wrestlers, like the old school ones, like Hulk Hogan, but he likes some of the new ones too.
Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Jake the Snake. What?
I might have gotten in a fight once with a WWE wrestler when I was at Albany River Rats semi-pro hockey game, but we'll get into that another day.
Another story for another day.
Jeff was with me.
Well, I will tell you, he loves all of them, and the older ones and the new ones. And I remember Sarah Taylor's family had something to do with them.
Oh yeah.
So that's how I remember. Like I knew the names through them talking about them or something.
Yeah.
But John knows all of them, and so I ordered a decorations kit on Amazon for like WWF stuff. So I'm gonna decorate the house today, and then tomorrow I'll go pick them up and bring them over, and we'll do like.
I love John. I met John when I was at your house before. He's a real sweetheart.
Yeah, he is. He's just the sweetest thing, and he recently lost his mom, and so he's kind of going through it, but managing. So I was like, as long as we're not in hurricane,
Helene or whatever her name was.
We'll push it to next weekend, but if not, we'll do it for his actual birthday. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing this super cute jumpsuit that I got in Nashville at this place called Molly Green. And Sophia is coming over, Brody's girl, and we're going to take a ride to Michael's. I got a 20% off coupon. We're going to buy some fashion paint.
Nice.
We're going to make this an Eras jumpsuit. Do-da. I cannot
your
freaking
concert
wait.
in November?
Yes. Actually, though, I have 2 other outfits already prepared for the Eras that are, I can't. So every day, Jeff and I are on this road trip. We're leaving that Monday. The concert's Thursday, headed to Toronto. We're driving.
Yes.
Every day we're going to wear a T-Swift, Travis
Ensemble?
Kelce style couples ensemble.
Cute.
And
so what I was picturing when you were saying that before you got to the end was, oh my God, she's going to try to do costume changes throughout the eras.
Oh my God. Maybe I should.
How would you get them all in?
Yeah, you're right. Damn. But that would be even better. But so, because she's still there that Friday, so we might still go to the pre-party. You don't have to have a ticket to go to that. And I think they're going to have Taylor Swift crap going on all week.
Oh, for sure.
And I have not seen her in a jumpsuit yet, and this is the Bernadette, which I freaking love. All I can think of is Bernadette from, what's that show with,
I'm a mom. I watch it every night when I go to sleep.
I know. I love it. With Sheldon.
Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, Big Bang Theory.
I love that show.
So anyway, I can, as you know, from when Sophia did our cover art, she's phenomenal with fonts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're going to somehow, I put the outfit on so we could like see me in it so she could get her creativity going, because I want it to say the Eras tour, and then I want to list every album name in the font and kind of the color scheme for the album. So we'll see how it goes, but I just can't wait. I think that's going to be the coolest thing ever. So that's awesome. We're working on that today and tomorrow, and we're just having girls' time with the dogs and Bauer.
I'm not gonna lie, because I can't afford to go to the Eras tour because it's just too freaking expensive and I just can't do it. But I would love to. But I have signed up for multiple contests to win. So if you want to throw some shit out to the universe, I'd really like to win it.
I will freaking do that. Let me put it in the.
I'd love to go, but last year was a bitch and I just can't do it.
Speaking of the universe,
on that kind of money,
Crystal. I'm gonna butcher her last name now. Crystal
Brewer was her
maiden name. But Pile is what I've been saying. I've been giving it a French tone, but it might be Pilat. I don't know.
Wait,
but anyways,
what?
Pilat. But Jayne, let me tell you. First of all, see this bracelet right here?
Ooh, pretty.
You have one too.
Okay, yeah, I see it. Oh, it's beautiful.
You have one too. She sent me a freaking package this week with a shit ton of crystals, gemstones, like mist sprays, nail polish. This girl I felt very, very special. Thank you so much, Crystal. But she sent you a bracelet too. However, you said the word universe. Look at this gemstone she sent me.
Oh my gosh.
Is this not, I do want to get more information because I'm not even sure what gemstone this is. And she told me to reach.
It looks like it's got like the mermaid colors, the purple, the teal, the
iridescence.
Yeah, the iridescent stuff. Yeah. Beautiful.
It's stunning. And then I have a couple more too. It's beautiful. So anyway, sorry, sidetracked with the universe, but hang on,
no problem.
Universe, Mother Earth, good Lord above, please allow my sister to win Eras tour tickets, specifically to the Toronto show so she can come with us.
So I can hitch a ride?
Yes. Exactly. All right. So did the random question generator right before the start of our episode. And today it's kind of fitting for the situation we're in. But if you could choose to be famous for something, what would it be?
You go first.
Mine 100% would be kindness. If I had done something to help someone else and I got, not that I need to be recognized to be kind, but to pass it on and spread it on. So maybe to set the example and other people follow suit, because I feel like kindness can go so far and just makes the world a better place. And all you got to be is a little patient and, meet the people where they're at. And that shouldn't be too difficult. So anyways, that would be mine. I could be famous for that. I'd love that.
Okay. I think you told me right before we started to think about it and I forgot to, but I think probably positive leadership would be something I would like to be. remember.
I'm writing these down.
Yeah. Just because I enjoy a leadership role, and I always hope to leave people, leave situations more positive than when I got there, or more supported than when I got there.
Love that. And I think you nail that on a daily basis. All right.
Try.
Have you had any interesting conversations or received any information that's made you think this week, or made you question your perspective or think more deeply about a situation?
Yes.
Okay, tell me.
So it didn't make me question my perspective, but it kind of put a spin.
Broadened?
Yeah, it broadened my perspective. It just gave me another side of it that I hadn't thought of. But I was dealing with something, and this was actually at work, but I was dealing with something, and my general, because I think a lot has to do with our personality type, our experiences, our environment, how we were raised, but also just like who we are in spirit.
At our core.
Because I think, the whole nature versus nurture argument, but I think it's so much of both. And so for me, generally, most of my work has been in health and human services, government, nonprofit, supporting people, marginalized populations, whatever it might be, advocacy. Yeah. And so, and that's what I love. And I think it's what I'm best at. And so I think what I often bring to the table is, and this was pointed out to me by my somebody at work, was that, Jayne, you can go into a room and you can tell me about the people, who's in there, what's going on for them, what their needs are, and how to best support them, like in really short order amount of time. I go into a room and I see metrics, numbers, what the needs are from that perspective, not from like a feelings perspective, but from like a monetary or a financials or a just metrics, And so I had never really thought about that, because my way isn't necessarily the right way, but I do feel like, and we had this conversation about how I'm incredibly
empathetic
on and sort of driven by my moral compass. Like I have a very strong sense of what I think is right and what I think is wrong. And not that there isn't, gray areas where it's like that big of a deal. It could go either way. But when it's something where I feel like it's just the right thing to do from a human perspective, I have a very hard time staying silent. And I think that's, again, because most of my career I've been in advocacy. And so,
and rightly so, we need more of you.
And I've been taught to do that. And so, and that's, and
you practice doing it because you are in situations where you get to do it. So it's more comfortable
all the time. Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that it was just a really interesting conversation, because she brought up a point. I brought up the humanistic point immediately, because that's what I always do.
Yeah.
And she brought up a point that was more like, okay, but from this perspective, this is how it affects. And I was like, I didn't even think about that. I immediately went to what's best for the person. What are they going through? Where are they at? How can we support?
Because I feel like I go there too. Before numbers, but I appreciate numbers, and I need to be aware of numbers.
And I think that was the point of the whole thing, was just that it didn't change my perspective. I still felt strongly how I felt, but it gave me another side of it where I was like, oh, okay,
they're not wrong either.
Right. Yeah. As long as we're not doing it for punitive reasons, if we're not doing it to punish, then and it's actually a business decision that has to be made, okay, that just is what it is. Otherwise businesses don't function, and then you don't have a job. So that part I could get behind. I just didn't see it from that perspective, because my perspective is that I always go full right human. And then, I have to get pulled back sometimes. So it was an interesting conversation. I definitely felt like I walked away learning something.
Yeah, I love that. And what that says to me, and I've been thinking about this a lot lately, is that, you really can't do anything without a team. And to get the most out of your team, you have to celebrate strengths and weaknesses. And what I mean by celebrate weaknesses is what we call a weakness for the situation we're in might not be a weakness in another situation, but the situation we're in, well, if you've got a team of people and you've got others that can pick that weakness up, so now it becomes a strength because the team can get through it, because the team has what it needs, you're winning. Like, that's huge. And that sounds like good team collaboration.
I think it was. And I think we both walked away with something, like
realizing
information from the other perspective. Yeah. And I think that's the sort of the give and take from a team, is once you learn how to, I feel like that's something I try to do when I come into a situation, is recognize where somebody's at and what they need from me. Yeah. So that I can then meet them where they are.
Yeah, exactly.
But I feel like it was a good two-sided discussion. And it,
Yeah.
you know, we, in the end, I think it actually ended what I would consider the right way.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
like
No.
the way that I would have hoped for.
Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah. What about you?
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, I did have an interaction that I've been thinking about, and I'm still kind of mulling through it. So I figured next episode I'll give you that one. I
Okay.
like to, because I'm like knee deep right in the almost end result of where I'm going to land.
Okay.
But it's
Yeah.
got me like in deep thinking
Yeah.
about shit.
Sometimes
And also,
sometimes you got to work all the way through it before
I
you
got to work all the way
speak
through
on
it.
Yeah.
And also, Brody's definitely my son. I'll just say that out.
Yes. Yes. Also, Olivia might be your daughter.
So true. Oh, and Blake might be your son because
Right.
when we talk moral compass, let
Yeah.
me tell you, that
Yeah.
boy, you can't. And I love that about him
Yeah.
so much. I love that about you. I am aspiring to have such a moral compass
You
sometimes.
see, that would be the nurture part of the argument. I mean, the nature part of the argument, because
We came from this.
we got it from where we got it, you know?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Kind of crazy.
Awesome. So let's see here. Okay, Jayne. Oh, I got my notes written out to keep us on
Okay.
track.
That's smart.
Let's see. We're at 2616. Woohoo. All right. All right. Taylor Swift song. Focus lyrics. Got a lot of feedback about we I think last week or 2 weeks ago, apologies because I was out of town last weekend, but the last episode, pilot 1.0, I talked about All Too Well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that's still like in my daily. But we kind of had a sidebar conversation about New Year's Day. And so we had said that out loud on the podcast. And I had several people reach out about going back and listening to New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Amanda McLaughlin, you're amazing. I love her perspective on everything. But she really enjoyed the song. We had a little conversation about it, and I appreciated her reaching out. Yeah. And one more thing before we get to it. Taylor Swift, I think that came off the Reputation album, and she did a live show with Jimmy Fallon, and it was the first time she played New Year's Day live.
Yeah.
And so it was, if you get a chance, if anyone wants to research that, all you got to do is plug it in. It'll come up immediately on TikTok. It's beautiful. But Jayne, can we do it?
Can you do it? Sure. You have a microphone.
Okay, so
your favorite line, that's what you're talking about, right?
All right, favorite line of New Year's Day. And there's actually two, because my favorite line...
So just break it up. Do one and then do your other.
Okay. All right, here's the first part. Please don't ever become a stranger whose laugh I could recognize anywhere. Imagine that.
That's sad to me.
It is sad, but it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
What that says is... you have these people that you encounter in your life that move you. Like, I'm welling up right now because Taylor Swift, everything she does makes me cry, but in the best way. So they move you, and there's a possibility that they are out of reach, no longer in your life. Yeah. And it's the saddest thing to think about. But, and how you're thinking about it is, this person is so important to me. I never want to be in a room and I hear their laugh and I'm like,
I can recognize
they're no longer in my daily life, but I'm right back there with them. But the fact of the matter is, they had to stop. They're out if that happens. And that's so sad.
Do you know what that makes me think of now that we talked about this lyric earlier and I didn't think twice about it? I mean, other than the fact that it is like definitely invokes emotion. Yeah. When I was watching the, you know how Max, it used to be HBO Max, now it's called Max. They did that Friends reunion where they all got together and they went back to this, like the set, and it was before Matthew Perry passed away from his.
Yeah.
And that's what he said. He said, you can be at a party and you hear them, you see them, one of them. We don't talk all the time. We don't see each other. We're all moved on. But he's like, the party's done for you after that. You spend the rest of the night with that person, just, you know, in it. And that's what that line makes me think of, is like
exactly. And that's the beauty of that line.
10 years together and they rose to fame together and they, you know, I'm sure trauma bonded together over that.
Yeah.
But that line makes me think of that he said. And I'm so glad he got to say that before he passed away. Like they all got to hear that.
So they all are validated. They know that was his, beautiful memories of that.
Yeah.
it's funny because I played field hockey with a girl named Mary Ruggles when you know Mary. When I was in college, and we totally bonded over music. Go figure. And so it was. I got off. I got off the bike this morning, and I was gonna shave my legs actually. And so and so I was playing Blind. I put on a '90s list, and Blind Melon came on, and her brother Scott had posted a picture recently of her and the girls, her daughters, who are adorable, and him. And oh my God, it hit me so hard. It hit me like that. And I thought of that phrase immediately, those lyrics. And then I saved the picture like a stalker. And then I texted her because she's not on social media. And I was like, Mary Ruggles. And I'm like, do you remember sitting on the van coming to or from a game? I think it was from, because we were in celebration mode. So I feel like we won. And just, yeah.
You still have the microphone.
Oh shit. Oh yeah. Hang on. And so, well, that's because I have one half more lyric to sing. And I pinged her and I sent her the picture because I needed to admit I saved her picture. I'm like, I saw you, and I just was a flood of like love I felt. And I'm like, when I feel that, I have to tell the person, because you never know when you're going to get to tell somebody something again. And I did happen to have her phone number. So anyway, she remembered exactly what I was talking about. And then she reminded me of all the times we would sit in my room and play music and just sit there and like retain lyrics and talk about music. And it was such a good time. All right. Last part of the song, which I know you're going to hang on. Let me turn my microphone back on. Can you hear me? All right. It goes, wait, hold on to the memories. They will hold on to you. Hold on to the memories, they will hold on to you. And I will hold on to you. I could never be a singer because my voice would crack every time. Like, how do they do it?
I don't know, because she wrote all these songs, so they obviously mean something to her too. And so I don't know how you get through it. I guess it's just you just are a pro and you just do it. But I was watching one of the videos that of one of the Eras tours. I don't know, and it was when she was singing. What was the song I sent to you?
Long Live.
No, the other one. You're on Your Own, Kid.
Oh, You're on Your Own, Kid. So good.
But there's one part where she says, "You're on your own, kid," and then she says, she like makes this face that is so gut wrenching, and then she says, "Your own kid, you can do this, or you can make it," or something like that, like something really positive. I can't remember.
Let's make that our next song, because I need to dissect that. It's been a hot minute.
But if you look at her face right before, because the rest of it, you're on your own, kid, and you always have been. But when she says it the other way, that one time, if you watch her face, it's like you can see that she's actually feeling it, and it's like, and you can hear it in the audience that they're actually feeling it.
Yeah.
And so it's like it just means so much to so many people. I just think that's amazing.
I do too.
And I also was thinking when you were talking about the song that made you think of Mary Ruggles and her brother, I was thinking of like whenever I hear Jayne Says by Jane's Addiction, I always think of when I lived in Kansas City and I was going to college, or Liberty, actually, Missouri, and I was going to college, and I worked at 54th Street, and all my friends that I had there, whenever we'd go out after work, they would always play that song. And so, we're going to do it? Okay, go ahead.
Jayne says she's done with Sergio. He treats her like a rag doll. I love that song. And I put it on the tape I made you and a CD when we got rid of tapes.
But they would always sing it for me whenever, like, somebody would always play it and then they would all sing it. Just like every time I hear that, I'm like right back there.
It is. Exactly.
After I moved home, one New Year's Eve, they called me and they were all out and they all sang it in the phone to me. I was like, Jay and Andrew Lee and Lacey and Lindsay and who else was there? Shane and Greg and like just all the people I got to work with that were so awesome, and I had such a great time with them. I haven't kept in contact with anybody because I suck, but
or life is life. But
I certainly
don't make them be a stranger. That when you hear them laugh, I forgot my words already, but you know that's that scenario.
Yeah,
you'd be spending the whole night with them once you heard them.
Yeah, there'd be a lot to catch up on.
There would be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what are we listening to or watching this week? Outside of Taylor.
Right, obviously. I don't have anything on the docket. What are you listening to and watching this week?
So I actually saw Vance Joy last Friday night, and tickets were wicked cheap, $58, and I was in the pit. And literally two people in front of me were stage. Literally, I could feel his sweat. And he had a band open for them called Tiny Habits, which I love their name, because when you think about it, it's the tiny habits that, like, if you build and you're working towards a goal, that's how you get there. And I found that motivating as soon as I heard the name. But it was like a group of kids that, I think they're young adults, but they had met at college during COVID, and they were all stuck. Like, they ended up being able to be in the same room. I don't know how that happened, but they were able to. And so they just started singing together, and that's how they coped with it. But now they're writing their own music, and they're touring and opening for Vance Joy. And so I'm going to forward you this song after.
Okay.
And I got to give a shout out to my girls, Sessions, Denim, Diana, Barbara, and Elvira. And you know who you are. We heard this song together for the first time, and it's called Wishes by Tiny Habits. And I want to read you this verse. And I wish that I was smaller, or I wish I was better at being kind to the one body that I've got. After all, it keeps me breathing till the day I just cannot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's some powerful shit right there. And literally choking up. I just love music that cracks me.
Yeah.
But the whole song, that's one verse, one very powerful set of lyrics. But the whole song is so powerful. I feel like they're going to go, and hearing them live, they were wonderful live. I think they're learning how to play in front of bigger crowds. Hearing what they recorded, it is crystal clear, beautiful, stunning, just so good. So Tiny Habits, if anyone wants to take a listen, the song is called Wishes, but they have several, and they do a cover of Keen's Somewhere Only We Know, and Landslide by Fleetwood Mac, because they do a couple covers too, which was cool, because when you don't know the songs, you want to sing. So they kind of threw a song in for everybody to sing here and there as they did their own music, but their own music was very moving.
Yeah.
So
Fleetwood Mac always makes me think of Pat. Always.
Pat, 100%. Rumors album. I think you guys, I think it was Skinny Atlas Lake.
No, it was a Tisco.
A Tisco Lake, yeah. We backed the car, and like there was like a rocky beach.
Like, first of all, pitch blackout, and why the hell we thought it was appropriate to go in water that you couldn't see.
I'm pretty sure I didn't go because I was scared.
I'm pretty sure Pat got attacked by some type. Remember, he called it Barracuda Bay after that because something like grabbed his foot or his leg.
So funny. He was the funniest freaking dude.
Yeah, I don't think I ever went in dark water again after that.
Hell no.
There was something in there. I don't know what it was, but
I stayed at ankle deep because I don't do water.
Well, I didn't go swimming. I think I was like maybe up to the knees or something, but I don't know what it was, but something bit him. It was probably like a snapping turtle or something, maybe.
It probably was a turtle. Do we have freshwater crabs?
I don't know. I don't think I ever
got it's probably turtle.
When we went to Cross Lake a couple years ago and stayed with Dad at the lake, remember?
Yeah.
Like Terrence went and you brought everybody, and me and Liv.
We had the campers.
Yeah, and we had the campers and then the camp. That year was the first year I ever noticed I kept seeing snakes.
Oh no.
On the rocks. And I was like, oh my God, I've been swimming in this lake my whole life. Like across it and back multiple times in my life.
Yeah.
And remember that year when Euless was like, I was telling him how we used to swim across the lake and back, and it's like, I mean, it's like a 4-hour swim.
Yeah.
And I remember, and he was like, Jayne, you haven't done that since you were 15. And I was like, I'll do it right now.
Yeah,
and
you did.
Like, no, you won't. And then I did. And like 4 hours later, I showed him. And
wait, 4 hours later, was this also the time Jenny pretended she knew how to drive a boat?
Because Mom was freaking out. This was a different trip, not the one with Dad. This was one with Mom. And Mom was freaking out. And here comes Jenny and Mom out on like a little fishing boat, but had an engine. And Jenny comes ripping out there like she knows what she's doing. Meanwhile, I could have been killed because she didn't actually know how to drive it.
I had no clue. This is how I understand too.
Every day that week, we would multiple times a day swim out halfway and back. And we would always get to the halfway point and you would fucking panic.
Yes,
because you were sure there was a river monster looking at your feet.
I was 100% sure.
And then we would have to haul balls back.
The voice of reason.
I'm like, what in the name? But I will say that's how, thank God we were doing that, because that's how I made it across and back. And when I made it, that was also the time that Mom sent Vic out later.
With a kayak, a
Vic came
single.
out with a one-man kayak and was like, Mom's worried about you. And I was like, I'm fine. I'm just taking a break. I was like bobbing up and down trying to catch my breath or whatever.
No, you were stuck in a current. You weren't
No,
making
that
any...
was later. So Vic
Oh,
and
yeah.
I, 20 minutes later, I'm like swimming and I'm not going anywhere. And I'm like, Vic, I feel like I might be in a current because I'm like on a swim treadmill. I don't feel like I've moved in 20 minutes. And he's like, yeah, I think you're in a current. I'm like, you want to maybe mention that before I spend 20 minutes on a swim treadmill?
It's fucking hilarious.
Because this is already a quite a swim, and Euless is waiting on the bank for me to tell me I couldn't make it, except I totally did. And then when I had gotten all the way to the other side, that's when the seaweed started touching my feet, and then I was not okay. But I still had to go up and touch the land and then swim back.
Yeah, you did.
You
did do it.
That was a good 4.5 hour swim.
You displayed your badassery. 100%.
Like, don't tell me I can't do it. I'll do it right now.
That's right. So
4.5
you know how
hours later.
Yeah, exactly. We're not counting hours. We're counting completion.
Right.
So you know how I learned to drive a boat that way?
How?
That's also how I learned to drive standard. Someone was like, hey, do you want to borrow my car? I'm going to be gone on vacation for a week and I'm going to keep it at someone because I can never admit this. And I was like, sure. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on that car because it was standard. And I was sure as shit going to teach myself how to drive it.
Oh my God.
I taught myself.
Yeah.
The car was very patient with me.
Yeah. I was going to say, did they need a new transmission when they got back?
Possibly. No. I think I actually nailed it pretty well, but definitely hills were not my thing. Yeah. We were rolling. But
so
under pressure, it's the only way to learn.
I bought my first car and it was a standard. And I remember I had a nanny job, a family that lived in the SU area, and they were, wealthy family. The mom was a reporter and the dad was like a marriage and family therapist, PhD student at SU, and he also worked there.
Nice.
And I remember I would have to go up Adams Street, which is like a
hill.
And I would literally, and there was a light at the top, and so if I hit the light, I was good. But if I didn't hit the light, then I would just roll back down the hill. Like I don't know how many times that happened to me that I'm so grateful nobody was behind me. Yeah. And it was just happened to be the time of day that I was going that I just got lucky. But probably 2 or 3 times I rolled a good distance back down that hill because I couldn't get the clutch and the gas to hit that spot. Yeah. How embarrassing. Oh my gosh. I think back now and I'm like, I could have killed somebody. But also, why would I try that? Like, I should have found a way around that didn't have lights, but I just wasn't savvy enough with like city driving.
Well, you survived because you're here.
I did. Yeah. I did.
Exactly. And then you switched to automatics. I miss driving a standard. I never actually got the pleasure of owning one, but I just feel like it's not anything we get to do anymore. And it's the one thing I can do that Jeff can't.
Ah.
Love it. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
All right, Jayne.
It's like riding a bike. I hope I could still even do it.
Oh, you 100% could. I had to drive Vic's truck. I mean, this was like 2 years ago, and I picked it up like, I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was close.
You don't need to know that.
Ooh, did I show you my ring? Look at this pink opal. Isn't that gorgeous?
That's way. Oh yeah, it is. It is. It looks like Wonder Woman. Except it's pink and not red.
Actually. And I love it on my thumb.
Yeah.
All right. So
Jenny, can we show another difference of the two of us?
Yeah.
I have one ring that I wear. You have 31 and it takes up your whole hand.
I do. I only wear one necklace.
Also, I have 0 bracelets.
And I have a couple, and I feel like I need some over here, but I want a different color. And these, I feel like all my greens,
they're pretty.
This is neutral to me. These are neutral colors. Yeah. So, you know how some people wouldn't necessarily consider anything that's not brown, gray, or black, or white neutral? Or white, or cream. But I find these colors to go with anything.
Yeah.
And then this, I did not realize that this was real zebra. Or I wouldn't have bought it because I wouldn't support that. But now that I did buy it, I can't take it off because I feel like I owe him because I don't want to waste. And I feel so bad that he was. Wow. Yeah. So I love this guy.
It's important that you kiss the dead zebra.
To kiss. He used to have fur, but now it's leather. But it's just still beautiful. And I appreciate him. And I just never want him to feel like I took him for granted. And I will not perpetuate the cycle of violence.
And
but I
buying
can't take it
more
off because
real
now,
dinners. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, all right. How about we talked a couple weeks ago about the promise we were going to keep to ourselves for the week.
Yeah.
Yours was you were going to be working out, and mine was because I was traveling, I was going to make sure I kept my nutrition on lockdown.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did good. Last week, the week that we ended up having to skip, I had work travel too. And the way my work travel is set up, it's like in 24 hours, I go somewhere, I do all the
Yeah.
stuff. I get up and be on base at like 5:36 a.m. or whatever. And then
Yeah.
I stuff until I fly back. Like there's no way to fit a workout into it
Yeah.
unless I got
Yeah.
up at 3 a.m., which I
Yeah.
can't do because I'm lucky
Which
if I stay up
honestly,
by
that's
11.
freaking annoying because
It is.
travel enough is so hard,
Travel's
and
hard. It is hard. And like
you need to. The workout is only going to make the day better, and
hard,
I am very fortunate that my boss understands my need
yeah,
for a workout
yeah,
and allows me that privilege.
yeah,
Because honestly, I'd be a nightmare, and customers wouldn't want to deal with me because I can't contain my energy
yeah.
if I don't level it in the morning.
I try to work out the day I'm leaving. Like I'll
Yeah.
work out that morning and then I just know the next day if I have the energy, I'll do it when I get home, but I just usually don't. I'm usually so
And it's
sleepy by the
okay.
time
You
I
should,
get home.
because if you're that exhausted and that sounds
I know.
miserable,
Yeah.
then
But
you shouldn't work out. You
but
should sleep. That's the
the other
priority.
issue that I have with my travel weeks is I'm exhausted for a week after
I
because
know.
it's
Because
like
that's a
so
24
much.
hour.
And I also I so badly want to be a traveler. I love the idea of going other places. I love the idea of seeing other things. I love
Yeah.
the diversity of it, all of it. I hate fucking traveling. I hate it.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
love it. I want to be that person. I like my own bed. I like my own stuff. I like my own cleanliness. I have nightmares every time I stay in a hotel that I have bed bugs. I can't help it. I don't know what
Oh,
happens to me,
Jayne.
but I feel them on me.
Fuck! Blake called my fucking phone and it's connected and I think it cut our.
Well, it says we're still recording, so I'm pretty sure it didn't
Mine
cut us.
says 13
13 what?
seconds.
Mine says 47:03.
Okay. No, I'm not mad at you, Blake, but I don't know how to control that. Like, I don't know how to control the interruption. Sorry.
You have to put your phone on, what do you call it, remember?
Do not disturb.
Yeah.
But why is it in my iPad? I'm not connected.
Oh, yeah, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's probably because your Apple is connected, your Apple ID.
Well, I don't. Okay, so what do I do? Hey guys, we're working through this. Sorry. And if offends you, I'm also sorry. How do I do it? How do I put my phone on do not disturb?
I do the swipe down.
Okay, hang on. That's okay. So
I do the swipe down and then the focus button is what makes it go to do not disturb.
Okay. And so now a phone call won't come through?
Nothing will come through.
Health. Working, yeah. All right. Hopefully, I'm leaving that in there.
Pretend that didn't happen. Okay.
Pretend it didn't happen, even though it did. This is the kinks of learning how to podcast. And I need to be more patient. Because there's always a solution. I'm just reminding myself that after my outburst. Jayne, okay, so what's your one promise for yourself for this week?
Let me see this week. I think I'm gonna try to I can't remember if we talked about this last week or because it's hard to sometimes remember what we talk about and then what we just talk about in general or what we talk about on here. But I just think we are our own worst critics, and I definitely know I'm my own worst critic. And so I just am trying to give myself grace on it's been a tough year, and I just am trying to keep reminding myself to give myself grace to heal, not take things so personally, not beat myself up so much about the way that things are happening or the things that I can't control, because that's really hard for my type A personality to not be able to control something that I need to control or feel like I need to control. So I just think that's part of I don't think it's for 1 week. I think that's just that's the stage of my life right now that I'm at, is trying to just remind myself to give myself grace, because there are certain things, no matter how hard I try, that I can't control. And I just have to roll with it.
You do. And I'll give you a tip on that. Not that I'm the expert, but I have been really trying to practice understanding that when I look back, everything always freaking works out.
Yeah.
It might not be the exact way I wanted it to. It might be a different result, but it worked out. And so giving it up and just being like, universe, Mother Earth, good Lord above, freaking Graham, whoever I'm talking to, Bella Brave, my little girl, the 9-year-old TikTok star who passed away this year, but I feel a deep connection to her, and I feel like she gives me signs. Anyway, whoever it is, but just giving it up and being like, I know it'll work out. And then actually listening to what I've said to myself, it's going to work out, and keeping that positive mantra going.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. Awesome. So for me this week, I am going to spend 5 minutes a day at minimum doing something to push our podcast forward, because I got a little sidetracked when I traveled, and then I was exhausted when I got home, and I actually caught a cold and had to deal with that too. But I want to get back on, not even just, it doesn't have to be the daily random question generator. That's just one thing that I can do that's easy.
I like that. Oh, I like that.
It's practice, I need to be, I feel like I need to spend a little time figuring out Apple Podcast, because we haven't figured out how to post that yet.
Yeah.
And also, maybe more prep work coming into, personally, the way we're doing it, I like it better. I don't want to have answers, but I want to have our prompts aligned so that, like,
I like the idea of being able to think about it in advance for some stuff, so it's not just like rambling.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the idea, I never thought of it as being like a structured, scripted anything, because that's just, I think that would be, we would be so transparent on that, like it would be so obvious, because it's
also,
just not real.
We couldn't stick to that. Let's be honest. No. So I like the prompts, so we kind of have a flow, and then okay, cool. So that's what I'm going to work on this week, and then
I'll work on some prompt questions too, of just stuff that comes up for me.
Okay, awesome. I was thinking we should repeat this mantra 3 times a day, every day for the next week until our next podcast episode, and it goes a little something like this: everything I touch turns to gold, and the money I spend comes back threefold. Everything I touch turns to gold, and the money I spend comes back threefold. Everything I touch turns to gold, and the money I spend comes back threefold. And that's it. That's all you got to do. Once a day, or 1 time a day, 3 times in a row.
Okay.
And then let's see what happens.
Okay.
Because what's the worst that could happen? We make money. Money loves me. Money showers me with beautiful gifts. And oh my God. Yeah. I heard this girl on TikTok. Actually, she was a lovely lady. And I thought she was talking about someone she knew, but she was talking about money. And that's the only way she talks about money. Yeah. And she is blessed left and right. But she's open to seeing where she's blessed. And, I feel like she's solidified her pathway because she works her ass off. But in addition to that, she just is always looking at it like, it does for me, I don't do for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going with it.
Okay.
Can't hurt.
I like it.
Awesome. All right, Jayne, anything else for this week?
Nope. Have a great week.
All right. Have a great week. I'm going to go take a nap with the girls because we've been up since 3.
Awesome.
And then Sophia's coming over and we're going to go do our Michael shopping.
Okay. I'm going to get ready for, I'm going to call John and verify he's good for tomorrow. And then I'm going to get ready for his little birthday party.
Awesome. Send pics. And if this, hopefully what you're seeing is the true, what's the time now?
53:40.
Woo! All right. We're under 55.
Okay.
Woo-hoo! Okay, Jayne. Love you. Have a great week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.